Alright, welcome back, YouTube. This is MDog, and we are recording this one just for you. I know when I'm this active in streaming, I tend to lean more towards streaming and then trying to convert those streams or portions of those streams to videos, but it's also fun just to make a video for YouTube now and again, and that's what we're doing right now. So one of my favorite things recently, and I've done this in other videos and certainly on stream lately, has been fishing both the 34 and the 41. Still, the 34 to me is the most fun, and it's just because of the variety of stuff we can catch. So I will tell you, this is the setup that I'm wanting to use, and just kind of see what type of fish we might catch, basically fully embracing the rubber foam fish. A little bit larger hook than we sometimes use on the jig, but so I kind of want to see what we get that way. But because of the cafe order, we're actually going to start off with my weaker setup. Now, Lurker 100, we could still catch something too big for us with this setup, but we should be okay. Smaller hooks, smaller baits. And I will show you why that is as soon as we get stopped here. So, as you know, in Russian Fishing 4, you cannot pull up the cafe from anywhere you are, but I took a screenshot of it before leaving the harbor. So the eel pout order is possible here. The saithe order, that's a little dicey, honestly. The saithe have so disappeared from 34. Like I'm getting like 1 to 2 a day at most. So I don't know about that. Sculpin, if we actually get the rig to the bottom a lot, that becomes more possible. Sorry, also possible on especially 4 out of 150. So blue whiting trophy, I don't know, who knows. So that's why I'm starting off with this smaller setup to see if we can get 1 or 2 of these cafe orders done. Oh, this might be happy hour. It is. It's another good reason to use smaller setup. So we're just going to see kind of what we can do. It's part of what I enjoy about this 34 though, is just kind of, it's just a relaxing, to me, fishing experience. Very active bite rate. And a bigger and bigger variety of fish. Like every day it seems like, though the saithe have kind of moved out, people are catching some pretty exotic stuff on the 34. So that's why it can be fun just to use a variety of different approaches just to see, you know, what you might catch here. So let's see what the next little while brings for us. If it looks like we're headed towards successfully getting a cafe order or 2 done, we'll stick with this setup for a little while. If it doesn't look like we're realistically going to get cafe orders done, or we get 1 done and that's enough or whatever, we'll switch to the other setup, which is really what I put together hoping to be able to experiment with here on the 34, the jigging setup. So that's my hope, is that we'll get to that one pretty quick. But, you know, when you've got some legitimate chances at easy cafe orders, obviously you want to hit those too. The you know, the saithe is the unfortunate one. That's 130 silver for 4 small saithe that not too long ago would have just been so easy. So you see it gets to the bottom there and we pretty easily get a sculpin. But that's a nice sculpin. Let me see which chat we're in. So we're in the small chat. We'll stay in the small one for now. So we have 3 chat rooms now. If you search MDog, you'll see 3 different chat rooms, family-friendly chat rooms come up. And we're just trying to give people both variety, let people move around. If you're in a real social mood, the chat room 1 has about 300 players in it. If you're in a little less social mood, chat room 2 has just under 100 players. And if you want to really chill, the chat room 3, the one I'm in right now, typically has around 20 players in it. And as those numbers continue to shift or change, we may even start a 4th chat room if we need it. But just trying to give people options that want to be a part of this community with us. But now there's a little more flexibility in what the room looks like that you're in. So like I said, if you click on chat, this cogwheel here and down here just type MDog in, all 3 of those rooms should pop up. Family friendly room 1, 2, and 3. So because this family friendly room 1 is over 300 now, it does not show, it tends to bug out and does not show what other people are catching in that room. So you may want to stay away from the first room if you see that it's over 300 players. I have asked people to, you know, if they do create alternate accounts, which a lot of us do that. If you stop playing the alternate account, try to remember to go back in and log out of the chat channel, so that doesn't count against our total number and ability to get the full chat functions in that first room. So anyway, off to a good start. You know, the sorry order is over 150, so this is the first. So we already got 1 of 6 on the Sculpin and 1 of 4 on the sorry, and yeah, we'll see if that continues. There we go. All right. Again, if this is a Sculpin, again, this is a big one. Although chances are, I would say this is something else. But let's see. Eel Pouts also being caught at 34 on the bottom. So I'm hoping we can get a couple Eel Pouts for that order. We'll just see how they come together here. That's a nice place. We'll take that for sure. No cafe order for that, but a good fish nonetheless. So we're already up to 4 different species caught here, and especially if we start using that other setup, we'll at least run that number to 10 or 12 different species, I would imagine, according to how long we fish here. All right, so we catch something on the drop there. Mackerels are great. Love to catch mackerels. Unfortunately, no mackerel cafe order at the moment, but we're going to get a decent amount of mackerel and sorry just on the drop here with these lures. So it's also a good way to spend happy hour. Just taking a chance that we'll have an opportunity to level up our fishing. Out of curiosity, that big Sculpin came in on the Real Shrimp 07. So that one there. Sorry, the green one at the bottom, not the red one. Yeah, it may be a time of day thing or something, or just feels like a school of mackerel are swimming through at the moment. All right, false alarm. It is just hard to beat. That one was just a little too small. 5 grams too small. It is hard to beat. Really active 134, really active 34 bank, really active 41 bank. It's just a lot of fun. It's just too active right now. We're not going to get to the bottom very often with this setup at the moment, which means eel pouts are going to be hard to come by. That's a nice mackerel. Eel pouts and sculpins pretty much at the bottom. We could think about taking that red shrimp off. Oh, nice little pollock. I think the idea behind the red shrimp was probably one of the eel pout weeklies or a couple of the eel pout weeklies. Either that or sorry. Those were kind of two of the fish I was looking at because of the current makeup of the cafe orders. There's a sorry, or mackerel, but probably just too small. Mackerel. Oh, blue whiting. Okay. We do have that trophy blue whiting order, but I don't know if they're quite active enough, at least with the baits I have on, to think we're going to trophy it right now. Very little chance of that, I would say. To be fair, I don't know about sculpin, but eel pouts probably pick up in the evening anyway, late afternoon, evening. So it may be hard to get it even when it does hit the bottom like this. Oh, okay. Oh, that's same size fish. I mean, I think it's pretty much the same fish right here. Dropped off, dropped right back on. So could be one of our sculpins, maybe. We did get it to the bottom. Yep. Oh, it's too small. It's got to be 600 grams. So it's not one of our sculpins. That's a hard cafe order unless you're really doing something to embrace catching sculpin, because 6 at a specific size. You know, and normally with this setup, one of the reasons why I like it is that you just catch a lot more, you know, mackerel, sorry, eel pouts, other stuff instead of sculpin. There's probably a way to lean more heavily into sculpin if you really want to do that cafe order. But I'm kind of okay with not pursuing those. Tell you what, after this cast, let's just cast the setup that I'm wanting to use here one time. We'll maybe rotate between the two every once in a while. Mostly we'll stick with this one for now, although I may be surprised. We may catch some of these cafe fish on the intended setup I want to use here as well. As a reminder, what we're using now is the lurker with there's another mackerel with fish 03, handmade fish 03, the Kraken shrimp 7.507, and the real shrimp 6.507. Okay, so let's switch it up and let's do a little jigging here. So the one thing that's a little different on this, for whatever reason, I have typically used 2-aught jig hooks, and sometimes 2.0, but sometimes 3.0 hooks on the drop shot. So we are a little bit larger hook size, especially on the main line. We'll see if that translates to feeling very different or not. All right, so without those shrimp on the line, I think we're less likely to catch the sorry and the mackerel, at least on the drop, as often. We still will with the handmade, the rubber handmade fish some, but all right, that is 5 grams too small. We'll cast this one more time before we switch back to the other one for now. So maybe this setup actually makes it to the bottom more often. And maybe it catches, you know, decent sculpin and eel pouts. This actually might be a more effective way, at least for some of the cafe orders. But if we want to make a run at that sorry order, the other setup's much better for that. Mm. A little less efficient because we're coming from the bottom almost every time on this setup versus the other one, but potentially a little more diversity in fish from this setup. All right, let's go back while we still have a little bit of daylight. I think we want to either decide we're going to pursue the Sori cafe order or just let it go, but one or the other pretty soon. Because I think we only have one of the right size, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that one's small. We need to be a little bit bigger than that. Yeah, we've only got one that's big enough. Natural shrimp 7.507, 6.507, 6.507. Do we just put more 6.507s on real quick and try to finish this order? Instead of being spread out across multiple fish, we can always bring the handmade foam back. There's a mackerel. I kind of like that idea. 6.507. We've got double those now. That should increase our Sori bite. Small fish on the drop in general, actually. Probably mackerel. Pollock. All right, here's the other thing we can do with this. See if this works. We're gonna actually just stop it at 15 and perk it right here at the top. If it makes it that far. All right, too small. We could keep these same baits on and go to 3/0 hook, try to increase the size of the Sori. It might lower the percentage of them we're catching, but it might be worth it at least on one. Ooh, so small, just slightly too small. All right, so 3/0, and I'm just gonna do it on this one. The other two will stay small. 6.5. If we go to the bigger shrimp, it will definitely start leaning towards just mackerel and not Sori. But just doing this, the hook size, I don't know. We might still be able to catch Sori on that. Of course, if we don't change the hook side of the other one as well, we'll never know the difference because it's the same bait, just two different hook sizes. Maybe we should change it on the other one so we actually can tell. Okay. Well, this will tell us because they'll either be gone or not. Okay. If it's a Sori, it's better. I think. Ugh. It's a nice mackerel. All right. begs the question, is it better to have a little bit bigger hook size, or is it better to have the right hook size? Close, but no cigar. They need to start coming in soon, or they will not be active until the next morning, like 8 a.m. or something. Maybe a little sooner than that, but oh, we're getting close. Wow, I'm surprised. I don't normally catch this many without having a few more be over 150. There we go. All right, we're catching them. Let's do something here. I don't know if that middle lure, that let's see, Atlantic, sorry. Yeah, let's go white. 3-0 hook. Little white shrimp. Hopefully I can, yeah, we'll adjust from there based on what we want to go after, but we're fully going sorry here just to make a run at them. I mean, they're such good silver for their size anyway. Like, no harm, no foul doing this. Didn't mean to keep that. Lurker, fillet strip. We're just using the lurker for the weight so that it sinks a little bit faster. Because the Saith aren't active, we're not likely to catch fish on the lurker at this elevation, I would say. All right, that is 8 grams off, folks. We're having both a very good fishing session and yet sort of a frustrating one at the same time. I want to get more of these lurkers. No, is it debatable on the strip? Maybe it is. Do we need the strip right now? Probably not. The strip's probably doing very little for us, at least while we're going for the sorry. Oh my goodness. It didn't get away, it just popped off. This is what happens with small fish sometimes, right? I don't know that there's a whole lot we can do about it. It just happens some. Okay, I gotta start keeping those. What are those coming in on? I guess the really small shrimp. That's why for mackerel, I really like switching to the 12 size instead of the 6.5. But for the sorry, this is kind of where we need to be. We only have 26 keepers, but we've caught a lot more than 26 fish. Can we get a bite at 10? Or do we need to go back down to 15? Okay, here we go. It's almost 8 p.m. Or it's what, 7? It's going to be 8 in in-game hour. Just trying to figure out how they might start slowing down. We might have a decision to make. I think we want to switch towards eel pout soon. Okay. That was at 20, by the way. All right, there's 2 that's big enough. So that dropped all the way down to 20 and we perked it. That came in on the 01, which is the white one. They're so small, like telling the difference between 200 grams and 100 gram is not easy. Okay, there's 3. We are 1 away. We are 1 away from being over 150. Yep. There it is. There it is. All right. So we have that cafe order done. The reason why I'm casting a couple more times is there is one more sorry cafe order and it's for 1 over 674, which that may be trophy size. I'm not sure. I think it is. Which we're probably not going to see a trophy here, but just in case, also the sorries are worth such good silver that don't mind catching a couple more if they're still active at this time. Wish we could look at the eel pout really quick on the weeklies. It's hard to take that much time with how fast these bite though. Maybe we'll just take a chance this time. All right. Sea records, weekly, viviparous eel pout. All right. 7 and rubberfish 03. All right. shoot. All right. Oh, Sculpin. Do we actually want to try to go for the Sculpin? Green. It's just green, isn't it? That's just because that's what so many people are fishing with. And these fish we're going for will bite on just about anything. That's probably more what's happening with these weeklies, but we can pretend. I don't think I'm going to do anything to try to go for the Sculpin. It'll either happen or it won't. And I'm kind of fine either way. But if here in the evening we can get on some eel pout, you know, bite, I would be okay with that. Those are also surprisingly worthwhile in terms of silver and XP. See how long this bite's taken? All right, let's see what this is, and what size it is, but that tells me we might be transitioning here. It's almost 10 p.m. now. That is a nice one, though. Let's try it one more time. Come on. Come on. This is not a sorry, though. It just pulled a little too weird there in the beginning. Mackerel. This is what's fun. Like, part of what RF4 has always been about is just getting better at targeting certain fish species. And as we're starting to see, you can also do that in the Norwegian Sea as well. Do we keep this on a little bit longer? I think yes. For now. All right, so we are embracing the bottom again, if we make it there. Which, this time of night, we'll start making it to the bottom a little more often. I still don't know. It may be just as good, if not better, to switch to the other setup. Especially in the evening. I think we'll do this one cast, and then we may just full-on switch. See how things go until morning on the other setup. Unless it just gets really slow or something. But I think this setup will definitely slow down overnight. I actually like jigging setups in the overnight hours a little better, at least typically. You can see already, like, it would have been unheard of to take this long to get a bite not very long ago. This is where you could start seeing an eel pout or something like that. Ooh, okay. I'm not switching yet. Even on the bottom we found a sorry. What did that bite on? 6.507. Still doing work down there. Time to switch. All right. That counts. For what it's worth, that does count. 1, 2. But we still need 4 more of those. It's so weird to go back to a Pilker rod after using boat rods. It just looks and feels really different. I'm not going to do it right now, obviously, but I may have to switch this setup to the other boat rod and the other setup to this rod. Because this one, we really are catching stuff on the drop so often, or we're stopping it pretty high up in the elevation. I don't mind the different feel, but to let it drop all the way to the bottom and then try to... I just like the feel of the boat rod better, I think. This is the Ocean Queen, right? I mean, this is the rod I started with. Most of my fishing here for a while was done on this rod. Until we leveled up marine fishing a little bit. But at this point, I'm so used to the boat rods. This one just feels really different to me. Maybe it's also because it's on jigging rig. I wonder if that has an impact. Now that I'm thinking about it. It might. Pollock? If I didn't know better, I'd say safe, but they're not here right now. Or very rarely. Ooh. Man, that's near trophy size. Alright, that's another one. So I think that's halfway there on the Sculpin. 1, 2, 3. Completing that is 147 silver. You know what we're not catching? That do not seem to be as active at the moment are eel pouts. Yesterday, it felt like you could actually just really target them. Not that they were just bycatch or something. Okay. The volume of fishing right now is amazing. 43 keepers? Eel pout or Sculpin? I could be wrong, but that's what this makes me think. Oh, place. Small place, though. I do like that the jig does seem to drop just at a pretty good rate. Of course, we could put a little heavier jig on there and be even better, but even with the drop shot, it's getting down to the bottom pretty quickly. Telling you, and we should have kept that just for a different variety of species. There are just more and more anglers, wolffish. I mean, just random porbeagles, spiny dogfish, just all kinds of stuff. If you fish at this 34 for just a little while, you're going to get a big variety of fish right now. I'll make you work for it a little bit more overnight. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 6. Too small if it's sculpin, I think. Okay. 03. So they need to be over 180. It's 5 grams off for the order. What if that had been right at 180? Then we'd have been 1 off on that. That'd have been amazing. It's a nice variety. Before all these topwater fish get super active again, let's throw this other setup one time to the bottom. I know it's lurker, it'll probably be a little slower bite, but I'm just curious. We could like get an extra eel pout or sculpin out of this too. Man, that's a nice little surprise wolffish to catch on the 34. I don't know that we wanted that fish anyway. Just an early morning mackerel probably. All right. Take a gander at this one. Yep. Oh, it's too small. Oh, it's just barely too small. Holy cow. That'd have been number 5 out of 6, but it's too small. Pollock or something. Would be a saith, but it's not a saith. It's a pollock. Could be a little spiny. I don't know. Alright, one more time, then we'll probably switch back to the other setup. I just wanted to get a look at this one before the small fish start popping off again on it. Those pollocs, especially on the other setup, we'd probably average slightly bigger maybe. Or if we just kind of embraced it a little bit, those pollocs are just worth such good silver. Another really good money fish. And as active as they are in the 34 right now, it's one of the many reasons why you just do so good fishing in this spot right now. It's small. Is it too small? This could be an eel. We don't want... Okay, whoa. We're just missing the mark. Let's go back to this one. We'll see what we catch on this one this time. This one also, we just have a little more strength, a little bigger leader. We're not well defended against all the fish that we could catch here, but a lot higher percentage than with the other setup. Got a little jig step going. I don't even try to get jig step really, even when I'm jigging, because pilking seems to work so good. But if you do get it, if you've got a little slack in your line, you want to jig step in a minute, you'll usually catch a fish. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be just as good or almost as good as perking it or whatever. Oh man, somebody's gonna correct me. I always say it both ways. I use the same noun and verb both ways, and people are always like, it's a pilker and you're perking or whatever. Who cares? I mean, people care, but I had never heard of this terminology before this Norwegian Sea came out. It's all a little new to me. Perking and boat rods and pilking or whatever. Mackerel are waking up. Alright, so we are no longer worried about eel pout. I guess if we got one more sculpin, we would be hoping for the final sculpin. But other than that, we just want to see a couple of good, a couple more really good fish here before we wrap up the session and turn in a couple cafe orders. Be nice to see a, I don't know, 9 kilo pollock or something. Just go out with a bang. I like using the Lurker 200 in this spot, on this setup. With these handmade foams as drops. And that's where I start to see some of the larger pollocks and stuff like that. Every once in a while, one of them hits that Lurker 200, and that's pretty fun. You also catch cod here at times. We've kind of dodged them for some reason, but there definitely are some cod here. We really haven't gotten the variety that I was expecting, but I think that's because we spent the majority of the time on the small fish setup. Where this setup, I sort of see this as a bridge. We're kind of bridging between the small fish to the medium fish with this setup. So I think if we had used this the whole hour, we would have a little bit higher variety. That one's big enough, by the way. So we just need one more eel pout. 2 more sculpin, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more. We're gonna start getting interrupted in mid-water here by all this stuff. The waves, though. Last time I posted a video about the 34-meter hole, and then the video came out a day or so later, and then somebody was like, in the comment section was like, this is old news, this isn't, you know, true anymore. Hey, that's, now we're 1 sculpin, 1 eel pout away. Which, I mean, I get what they were saying, like, the Saithe did move out. Like, between the time that I made that video and released that video, the Saithe had started to move out, catching them less and less. I think the point of the video, though, and what I would say the point of 34-meter hole, the 34-meter bank for at least the last couple weeks, and either the 34 or the 41 since this map came out. I feel like it's rotated back and forth on which bank I liked better, which preference I had, but there's always one or both of these banks are just such good fishing, especially once you've unlocked drop shot. Just the volume you're catching. Again, either embracing Saithe, embracing mackerel, sorry, like we did for a while tonight. More of a general approach where you're just catching a lot of different stuff, only like the handmade foam fish. Whatever it is, these are just great fishing spots. Hey, a haddock. That's our first haddock. I definitely don't just catch 1 haddock here very often. Usually it's like 3 or 4, I think, in a session. I do think recently, at least, the pollock have been a little stronger than the haddock, but as we're watching the time here, so happy hour is going to end, but are we going to get our last eel pout or last sculpin before we wrap it up here? I think our best chances now with this rig, because the other one is just going to hit sorry and mackerel on the way down 95% of the time at this point, like this just did. It made it to the bottom, but it technically still was on the drop. Like, everything hadn't settled down there yet, and something hit it. Ooh. That is big enough. All right. Okay. Sculpin, anyone? Oh, there's a cod. We'll keep it just to add some diversity. Did we just go cod again? Not a sculpin. I think we can safely agree on that. You actually don't want this fish to be a cod, because if it's not a cod, it's something like so healthy, you know? But if it is a cod, they're really good silver, so you're kind of okay with that too. But just in terms of like size of the fish, this is going to be a small to medium sized cod, but it'll be healthy just about anything else we would catch here. Ooh, yeah, definitely like that turbot. Definitely like that turbot. All right, what did the turbot go on? The 05. Like it. Once again, did not fully settle. Like seeing that fish. Kind of see the experience that we would have had if we had stayed on this setup the whole time. But I'm glad we did what we did. I feel like it's been a good exercise of trying to lean into targeting fish or increasing your chances of catching certain fish based on what setup lure you're using, also based on the elevation fishing style you're using. Hopefully it's been helpful to someone as you chase those cafe orders. We just needed 2 over 180. Who knew we were gonna just crush it? We got 3. They still seem a little less targetable to me, even though they're coming in at a decent rate. You know what we haven't had? Especially overnight. Speaking of fish that we normally, would at least see a few of, couple of. Um, yes, you're one safe. Cusk. No cusk in this session. It's a little strange. They're definitely around. They're always around. We may just have to be okay with not finishing the sculpin order. That is safe size. I don't know, like if I knew a spot, maybe the 30. I don't know a spot where we can just reliably go like, catch safe at the rate that you normally can catch safe at a good safe spot. So I'm just not sure. We might check that 30 really quick, but I mean, this setup, safe would normally go crazy for. Okay, let's try one more for Sculpin. I mean, I from the start, I've just tried to be okay whether we hit the Sculpin order or not. And I can always hold on to the Sculpin. If I come back out and fish some more, I can try to get it in a minute, or a few minutes, but we basically have completed two cafe orders, 3 if you count Sculpin. Eventually we'll get done if we want to, it's not a hard one to finish. Did it not hit the bottom? It's like touching bottom, but we're not getting in the bottom layer. There we go. Movement in the bottom layer. I think we're right on the edge of the bank. Okay. Okay. One more. I guess when you catch the right species in the wrong size, you go one more. This doesn't count. Get out of the way, mackerel. We're back fully on the 34 bank. Just in the northern part of the bank. Maybe there's less up here other than the Sculpin. Is that what we're hoping for? Might be a reasonable hope, actually. Starting to look like. Let's give it some strong perks for a second. Okay. We strong perked ourselves into a bigger fish. Atlantic cod. They like those small, those strong perks, don't they? Ooh. That's not a sculpin. That's not even a mackerel, is it? No, it's not. Oh. All right. Let's go try this at the 30 real quick, and then we'll wrap, and then we'll head to shore. A little longer video, I guess. I think that's too big. I think that's a little too juicy. I mean, unless it's a really nice one. Okay. Northwest. Let's see what's chilling at the 30 real quick. I think it's actually been a long while since I fished a 30. Last time I was here, there were small fish here. But I feel like some of these banks, if they're not super active, it could be that, you know, all that's there is a few saithe or something. But I don't know. Again, I haven't tried this place in quite a while. Probably could have caught saithe at 41. I just don't want to take the time to go down there right now. All right, even shallower bank. And I'm definitely going to let it go to the bottom because, you know, you never know. There could be a sculpin here just waiting to finish off the order. Also, saithe, don't mind at the bottom. You'll definitely get them on the drop a lot too, but... Wow, it's not as shallow a bank as it advertises. It's actually just as deep as the last one we were at. What is this little piggy went to the market? This is a very small little something. Okay. Yet another one that's the right size. Let's perk this at 20 real quick. Just for fun for a second here. We really probably want it to be on the bottom, given everything that's going on right now, but I'm just curious. I mean, again, if Saith are active, this kind of setup is just like candy for them. Alright, that's too strenuous. If they're not biting that quick, they're probably we'll just take it to the bottom and see what happens here. Got sonars saying there's the chance of small fish at the bottom right now. Couple different species it looks like. That's what I figured. Okay. How replicatable is that going to be? I kind of like this little 30-meter bank right now. It's very promising, very similar to 34 really at the moment. Is how it is appearing. Now the small fish, are they here? I don't know. I guess, you know, testing with the smaller setup might tell us, but okay. This might tell us a little bit here. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure that we're going to spend the time it would take to get the Saith, and also we're not seeing Sculpin at all at the moment. All right, I'll be right back. All right, let's see how we did. Man, y'all remember when loading used to take a long while in this game? It is like supersonic fast now, even on this map, which is pretty impressive. Okay, if we didn't have any cafe orders, 811 silver. So with cafe, we're going 165 silver. I will probably get this in a little while. That's another 150. I may get this as well. All right, 150, 160 plus 80, 240. So we're between 240 and 245. Again, whether or not you want to give these to me or not is fine. But so 245 plus, I mean, that's already right at 1,000 silver. And I'll be over that with those other 2 cafe orders potentially. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. Let's go ahead and sell. So cod for 21. Mackerel 156. 84 for the Sori. 20 for 1 wolffish. 105 for the place. 14 for the haddock. 142 for the pollock. Alright, we're keeping the saithe, which would be 23. Sculpin 61. That turbot was worth 64. And the eel pout 40. Plus those cafe orders. Really good session as always at 34, 41, whatever. Just making tons of silver for very little damage to gear or that kind of stuff. So as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Tight lines, everybody.